in the heart of a coastal city, where seagulls fought over fish scraps at the docks in the sea breeze mingled with the expensive perfume of tourists, a woman pushed a cleaning cart through the glass corridors of the region's largest business hotel. The faded blue uniform hid arms marked by working by a past of broken promises. On the top floor, behind armored doors in silent works of art, the young CEO who ran the hotel chain watched a storm forming on the horizon, unaware that the very same storm would bring in the only person capable of disarming his loneliness. But that night, she was only the shadow who cleaned his floor. Before we start, subscribe now so you don't miss more incredible stories like this one. And before we dive in, tell us in the comments, where are you watching this video from? We love hearing from you. Always read every message. The day dawned with the deep sound of waves crashing against the stone barrier, while the streets still gleamed wet from the night's rain. The Glass Sea Hotel rose like a modern lighthouse in the center of the bay, tall windows reflecting the gray sky, automatic doors that side each chimney. Someone entered. The scent of artificial flowers, mixed with chlorine from the lobby, a cold fragrance that seemed to exclude anyone without elegant clothes or confident steps. On the morning shift, Clara arrived 15 minutes early. She carried a worn backpack, the end of her pants still damp from walking, and her boots without battery hanging like small talismans. As soon as she crossed the lobby, she heard laughter behind the marble counter to receptionists, whispering about her uniform. The comment was low, but sharp enough to wound. Clara smiled faintly, as if she hadn't heard. They walked straight to the staff locker room. In the service corridor, fluorescent lights flickered and the smell of disinfectant clung to the skin. Silas, the supervisor of the executive floor, appeared suddenly with his clipboard, crooked tie, in the habit of speaking while looking upward, as if no one deserved his direct gaze. "Latch again, Clara?" he asked with a half smirk. "I came early today," she replied, showing her phone's clock. "Early, but still with that face of someone who already lost the race," he sneered, turning his back. The other maids chuckled softly, and Clara stayed silent. High above, the executive floor buzzed with a director's meeting. Warm lights, deep voices, expensive colognes. That morning, Leon Navarro, the CEO, had arrived by private helicopter. Young, out to the Hotel Empire. He wore a charcoal gray suit that mirrored the daylight from the windows. When he passed the corridor, everyone straightened up except Clara, still kneeling on the carpet, collecting forgotten coffee cups. He didn't notice her, but she caught his scent blending with the salt air drifting in from the sea. That afternoon, while Clara scrubbed the floor of the panoramic terrace, a group of interns filmed stories on their phones, mocking her work. "Look, the queen of the mop claiming her throne," one of them joked. She looked up for a moment, her eyes calm, then returned to cleaning without a word. The sea breeze lifted a strand of her tied hair, and the laughter faded into the wind. Upstairs, on the top floor, Leon watched the storm darkening the horizon. The glass reflected his tired face, a man surrounded by luxury, yet utterly alone. For a brief instant, his gaze fell to the terrace below, where the solitary maid worked beneath the first drops of rain. But no one noticed it. While they laughed at her, Clara's eyes shone faintly as if she carried a secret no one yet knew. The next morning, heavy clouds warned of coming rain. The lobby of the Glass Sea was bustling, guests anxious to check out, bellboys rushing with luggage carts, interns still snickering about the queen of the mop. The smell of fresh coffee and warm bread from the ground floor bakery spread through the air, mingling with the salty breeze. Clara walked by quietly with her bucket and mop, avoiding stares. But Silas, the supervisor, seemed determined to remind her of her place. "Hey, Clara, you left the main stairs unfinished yesterday. Go clean them now, before Mr. Navarro comes them for the press conference," he said, loudly enough for the receptionists and some guests to hear. She nodded without arguing. As she began scrubbing the marble steps, she heard muffled laughter, interns taking pictures for their stories. "I bet she can finish it before the press starts," one said, filming secretly. "No way she's done before the rain hits," another teased. The mocking Tony echoed through the hall, drawing a few guests' attention. One commented something in English, laughing, and all eyes turned to Clara. She kept her gaze low, calm serenity she had learned to build the silence. Just then, Leon Navarro descended the side stairs, speaking on the phone. His presence silenced the corridors for a moment. The deep voice, the immaculate suit, the expression of someone who tolerated no mistakes. When he hung up, he noticed the small crowd around the maid kneeling on the floor. "What esse repeniere?" he asked, glancing at Silas. "Nothing, so, just a little challenge among the staff. Interesting how people choose to have fun at someone else's expense," Leon said quietly but firmly. The silence that followed was nearly tangible. The intern pocketed his phone, the smoke fading. Silas cleared his throat, trying to move on. But Leon turned to Clara. "Continue your work," he said in a neutral, almost gentle tone. Clara nodded without raising her head. The bristles of her brush scraped the marble in a steady rhythm, filling the tasty quiet of the lobby. When Leon walked toward the panoramic elevator, the laughter resumed softer now, like persistent mosquitoes. One intern whispered, "I bet she won't even finish half before the rain." Another added, "Yeli bet a week of coffee she can finish the terrace after that." There, taunts spread like sparks. Silas, sensing the audience, decided to fuel the scene. "Well then, let us make it interesting. Clara, can you finish the stairs in the terrace before the noon press conference?" She paused for a moment, holding the wet brush, then returned to work silently. "That is a yes or no, Clara," Silas pressed. Still she stayed silent, just breathed deeply, as if accepting without words. "Then each is a yes," he declared, turning to the others. "Let us see if she delivers." The lobby clock read as easy. The press conference would begin in less than 2 hours. In the sky over the bay was already half covered with storm clouds. As Clara climbed to the terrace carrying buckets and rags, the interns secretly began filming her every move, waiting for a stumble, a mistake, anything viral. The sea breeze had turned sharp by the time she reached the terrace. The horizon was swallowed by dark clouds, and the smell of rain mixed with the salt clinging to her skin. She placed the bucket down and began scrubbing the chilies, still damp from the night drizzle. Each motion was precise, almost soundless, while below, through the lobby's glass, people as shadows watched her. Chimney passed, clouds thickened, each gust of wind loosened another strand of her hair. She tied it back without stopping. The brush as scraping and the whisper of the wind were the only sounds. Downstairs, the intern slowly stopped laughing, realizing she wasn't slowing down. She didn't complain, didn't check the clock, didn't seem tired. She just kept going, steady and sure, as if she knew a secret about endurance itself. Silas came up just before 11, expecting failure, but found Clara finishing the last section of the terrace, knees streaked with soap, breathing calm. For once, he had no words. "Yahoe to impress someone," he mocked. "Just doing my job," she replied without looking up. He chuckled weakly. "Don't you expect anyone to give you a medal?" "Maybe not," she said softly, "but that's okay." Meanwhile, in the conference room upstairs, Leon was straightening his tie when he glanced out the panoramic window. He saw her, still kneeling, fighting the wind in the rain in her faded blue uniform. His gaze lingered longer than it should have. "Mr. Navarro, are you ready for the press?" asked Marta, his assistant, noticing his distant look. "Yes, just checking the weather," he replied. On the terrace, the rain began to fall harder. Instead of stopping, Clara worked faster. The rain washed over the newly scrubbed chilies, revealing a strange, beautiful shine, as if the surface itself reflected the storm's light. When she finished, she stood slowly, massaging her sore wrist. He noticed one of the interns watching her from the doorway, his camera off. His expression changed. Thunder rolled, shaking the terrace glass. Wind burst through the terrace doors, carrying the smell of sea and fresh rain. Clara stood there for a moment, staring at the stormy bay. Her hair and uniform was soaked, but she didn't seem to care. She lifted the empty bucket and put it away. When Silas appeared again, almost 11:30, ready to document her failure, he stopped short. The terrace gleamed, spotless, reflecting the dark sky. "How did you finish this alone?" he asked, stunned. Clara shrugged. "Just did my job." He frowned, trying to sound mocking again. "Don't think you're special." "The rain helped." "Maybe it did," she said, and walked past him, empty bucket in hand, downstairs. The interns who once laughed now fell silent as she walked through. Some looked away, others stepped aside, disarmed by her quiet victory. Meanwhile, in the auditorium, Leon addressed reporters about the terrace expansion. Cameras clicked, coffee aroma filled the room. Mid-sentence, he paused, catching sight of Clara's reflection passing in the glass door. Drenched, holding her bucket, For reasons he couldn't explain, he lost his train of thought for a second. By the end of the conference, when a director joked about the show a maid had put on in the lobby, Leon said nothing but noted it silently. That evening, the story of the Terrace Challenge spread not as a joke, but as a story of quiet defiance. Something unseen had shifted in the Hotel SL. Later, as Clara stood her cart, Dona Helena, an older maid, approached. I don't know what you've got, girl, but today you made everyone swallow their words, she said, handing her a clean towel. Clara smiled for the first time that day, a soft, humble smile, eyes still foam. Night fell early. The sky over the bay turned deep blue, catched by distant lightning. The glassy hotel glowed ghost-like, its wet windows reflecting city lights in the upper corridors. Leon's woody cologne lingered in the air, blending with the metallic scent of rain. Clara was finishing her shift when she heard laughter from the ballroom. A private party for executives. Silas appeared, holding a champagne glass. Well, look who assisted the bucket heroine, he said, smirking. Just finishing my job, she replied evenly. Work too much, you burn out. Work too little, nobody notices. Maybe if you smiled more, someone would, he teased. Before she could reply, the ballroom door opened. Leon appeared, tie loosened, eyes sharp despite exhaustion. The room fell silent. Silas, my office. Now, Leon said, his voice low but cutting. Silas followed, pallid, under the stunned gazes of the others. Clara quietly went back to her cart. Behind closed doors, Leon faced him. I heard about these challenges in the lobby on the terrace. Was that your idea? It was nothing, so just some fun. Between stuff, fun. That humilhates others dois nite. Belong in my hotel, Leon catching firmly. You apologize to her, publicly. Silas muttered a reluctant yes. So, he left. A few minutes later, as Clara put away supplies, Silas appeared, deflated. Clara, apologize for what happened today, he mumbled. She nodded calmly, thank you, in the nearly empty lobby. Marta, Leon's assistant, approached quietly. Mr. Navarro asked that you receive this, she said, handing over a small envelope. Inside was an invitation to the staff award ceremony the next day, normally reserved for higher positions. There must be a mistake, Clara said softly. It's no mistake, Marta replied with a faint smile. Tomorrow. At 8, Clara felt a quiet certainty that something would change. The next night, the glassy auditorium shimmered under warm lights, with velvet seats and polished trophies lined on stage. Employees in formal wear chatted, coffee and biscuits perfumed the air. Clara entered calmly, holding her envelope, aware of curious eyes. On stage, Leon Navarro watched her, his expression mixing respect and something deeper. When she stepped up to receive her award, not for any stunt, but for genuine dedication, a reverent silence filled the room. Even Silas stood quietly, ashamed. Tonight we are not someone who showed that real worth lies in persistence. The honest work, Leon said. A reminder that talent isn't measured by the uniform you wear, but by the strength of your character. Clara smiled softly, holding the trophy not just as an object, but as a symbol that her strength had been seen. Her eyes met Leon's, and for a moment, both understood something wordless, that this woman, humble and quiet, possessed a dignity and luxury could buy. At the back, Silas looked away, defeated by the quiet brilliance of her presence. The interns whispered, not mocking now, but moved. When the ceremony ended, Clara walked through the hall, trophy against her chest, hair tied, calm and graceful. She didn't need to look back. Leon's silent presence behind her said everything. Days passed. The glassy hotel began to change subtly but deeply. Workers greeted Clara with genuine respect. Silas grew quieter, humbler. The story of the terrace spread through every floor like a quiet wave, reshaping the hotel's culture. Leon couldn't forget her, the serenity that had challenged him more than any rival ever could. Sometimes, during meetings, his eyes drifted till the terrace, realizing that true leadership came not from power or titles, but from the courage to keep dignity amid contempt. Photos from the ceremony soon decorated the walls, not just as celebration, but as inspiration. Clara kept working humbly, but now her presence carried weight. Some whispered, she has something that made us all stop and think, and amid each all, an unexpected bond formed. Leon began speaking more with her, listening to her ideas, drawn to her quiet strength. Between their simple exchanges, a genuine connection grew rooted in respect, admiration, and perhaps an unspoken promise of something more. The coastal city carried on, seagulls flew, waves roared, the wine brought salt, coffee, and flowers. But inside the glassy hotel, something had changed forever, a lesson of courage, dignity, and truth, reminding everyone that sometimes a single act of silent integrity can shift the course of an entire story.